Can everybody hear me? Good. Okay. Welcome. Good to see everybody. So, just so I know who I'm talking to, how many people here are leaders? Managers, or everybody here? Okay, perfect. You're in the right place. Good. So my name is Bob Kaiser. I'm a leadership coach and a mediator. And a lot of times when I'm talking to clients who are leaders, they mention to me that they feel like they're in kind of a hard position, a difficult position. They're in one where they make rules. They are asking that these rules be followed by their employees, by their staff. And sometimes this can be a not so pleasant situation for them. Sometimes conflict can arise. How many people can relate to this? Woo, okay, good. I was going to say if you can't, get up. So with that in mind, with conflict arising, how do we handle this? And that's where this comes in, this talk. So let me get my clicker. Real quickly, this may not apply to everyone, but just to kind of make sure we're on the same page. The first one, basically, having a manager that works with you that maybe is a little softer on the rules than you are. So when you discipline, it looks like you're the hard, you know what? You know what I'm talking about. Anybody can relate to that one? Yes? Yeah. Okay, so what about when you're doing staff meetings? That one particular employee who kind of challenges you all the time. Am I the only one? Okay, just checking. Okay, good morning. Hi. Have a seat. Hi, Dorian. Okay, so on the last one, when you bring an employee in because they're not following the rules or whatever it may be, and they are sure you are out to get them. Does anybody have this experience? Okay, and then as a leader, when we have to address this, like, come on. But we can't do this, can we? Because our actions, our reactions, can affect our entire team. Everybody agree?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. So today our goal is to explore different strategies to deal with these conflicts. With that in mind, our objectives to examine different responses to conflict besides the wanting to scream and hit somebody. Learn how to de-escalate intense conversations. And the last one. Hi.
Hi. I'm sorry. Can we get copies of these slides?
Yes. Most definitely. We'll make sure. Okay? Yeah. And last one, strategize how to create win-win interactions. Sound good to everybody?
Yes.
Woohoo! Let's go. Okay, so first of all, I want you to pair off real quickly. And this is interactive, so please feel free to ask questions, make comments. I encourage everything. But please pair up real quickly, and I want you to discuss how do you personally respond to conflict. For me, my blood pressure rises, I get a tone in my voice, etc. So just pair up real quickly and discuss how do you respond to conflict. So how do you respond to conflict? By the amount of talking, I can tell there are quite a few responses to conflict. So give me some. Yes?
Stop, pay attention, listen to what the other is saying, and then respond.
You are very evolved. So what she said was she stops, she pauses, and she what is it?
Listen.
Pays attention.
Listen to
Listen.
what the other is saying, and then respond.
So if I'm not available to teach this next time, you can just move to the back and pay. So, yes, how do you respond?
Yeah, as a subordinate, I would listen to my manager if I have, but I try to present what I think and why I think it, and try to have open. I like open conversation.
Great. That's a great goal. Is that what happens all the time?
Yeah.
Yeah, for me. Okay, let me just explain one thing. Today, I'm Bob Kaiser, leadership coach, mediator. But in my life, I promise you, I will leave here today, and I'm pretty sure I'll be in conflict where I might react. So there's no judgment here. I think we all react. I've been studying this for a long time. And as one of my staff members is here, she can attest to. We all kind of respond. Let me rephrase that. We react sometimes. So, but thank you for that. So, what are some other responses or reactions to conflict? What else?
You get shut down.
Shut down. Yes. Check. What else?
Anger.
Anger. Yes. What else?
Poker face.
Poker face. Oh, I love that. That's a new one.
Or if you don't have a poker face, then it just shows.
Or it just shows, yeah. Yeah, my boss is always like, so what are you thinking, Bob? I'm like, oh. So, well, here's some that I kind of came up with. Is there anything not on here that someone has? Okay?
Oh,
Yes?
well, dry mouth, I always get
Dry mouth, yeah. Yeah, television for me, that happens a lot. And the reason that I'm doing this workshop today probably is because of the stress that this can create in our lives. How many people have left their work, gone home, thought about a conflict all night long, went to sleep, tried to go to sleep, thought about the conflict all night long, and got up and then, was tired. Yeah. This is really stressful stuff. So here's my question. Why does this happen? Okay, and we've all heard of the fight or flight syndrome, correct? Yes?
Yeah.
So when we get into conflict, our reptilian minds kick in. So what happens is that we have two choices usually when we are in conflict and we have that response, okay, that reaction. Either we can fight, so we can say something, you're stupid, I don't know, or we can have the poker face or get the heck out of there, okay? But usually we're not in our right mind, okay, literally. Because in the fight or flight syndrome, I'll say syndrome for now, what happens is that the blood goes away from our brains and goes into our body, making us ready to either fight or flight. So that's why, because we have no brain, we have no blood in our brains, basically, we're saying whatever, you're stupid. And we're like, why did we just say that? Why did I just say that? Make sense to everybody? Has everybody experienced this? Yeah. Just this morning.
It's too early.
It's never too early for a good conflict. Especially if you're married. Okay, so, with that in mind, what can we do? What can we do about this situation? Before we go forward, I actually have a disclaimer. A lot of times when I'm teaching this, participants will ask me, or they'll say to me, Bob, if I could only get people to do what I want them to do, things would be fine. I don't have magical powers. I am so sorry. I can't help you control other people. So that's not an option. Okay? So with that in mind, what can we do in these situations? What do you think? What can we do?
One of the things that I said was, you know what, I just don't want to be a pain in your ass. That's a open up to me.
Great. So I don't want to be a pain in your ass. So okay, great. I'll take it. What else can we do in this situation? Yes.
I want to better understand where that person is coming from.
I love that. Yes. What are you thinking? What's going on in your experience of this? I love that. What else can we do?
Not taking comments personally.
Not take things personally. this almost sounds like that you're creating a safe environment for effective communication to take place. So in conflict, a lot of times we don't feel safe, right? That's why the fight or flight response happens. Okay, we don't feel safe. So, first of all, tell me what makes up an unsafe situation or environment. What are some things? Not being heard, not being understood. What else? Hostility, yes. What else?
Not being appreciated.
Not being appreciated, yes.
Past experience with that same person.
Past experience with that same person. Interesting. Okay, so it creates unsafe for us. Yeah.
A pattern of behavior.
Sorry?
A pattern.
A pattern of behavior, yes.
Person doesn't care about what you have to say.
Person doesn't care about what you have to say, yes. What else?
Demands for a specific resolution.
Demands for a specific resolution, yes. Okay. Has everybody been in this position as the recipient of this? Yes? Okay. How many of us have been the people who have actually created this situation? Yeah. I think whenever we are in that response, good morning. Hi. I think there's a tendency for us to do this. So, with that in mind, I think the first place we can look at is within ourselves. Okay, so when we find ourselves in conflict, when we find ourselves having that reaction, what can we do? Do these look familiar? Yeah, I think everybody knows this, correct? Is there anybody here this is new for the first time? No, this is all, just as a reminder, you walk away, call a friend or colleague, look at why you're getting so upset. Usually when we're upset, it is because we're afraid that we're going to lose something or we're not going to get something. When we are afraid in conflict, it's usually because we're afraid we're not going to get something or because we're afraid we're going to lose something. What are your thoughts about that? Agree? Disagree? Yes? No? Maybe? Okay, good. And usually our ego is threatened. Okay? Ego? Or we feel out of control. Yes?
Well, I understand all of that, and I'm using all of that when I need it. But when if your employee come to your office and already just way of their body language, the way how they come to my office, I know they're ready to fight.
Right?
So I can't walk away. I can still breathe.
Which is a huge thing.
But I can't call a friend. I can do that after I talk to her. But now, what's the solution now? I came to, from many years experience and hard way, I learned that first of all, I try to do kind of relaxed environment. Please sit down. Do you want some water? Here is a candy. Help yourself. So kind of loosen up a little bit.
That's exactly it.
But what else we can do with? After, I do all of that. That's for my stress to relieve. But before the even conflict occurred, what we can do?
So actually, it sounds like you're doing a really great job. And what the question was how can we deal with someone who comes at us with conflict? We can't leave the room. We can't, I can't call a friend or colleague. Can you hold on 1 second? But what you did mention, and which I really like, is that you said, do you want to have a seat? Offer them something to drink, trying to calm them down, but calming ourselves down. So actually, I think you are doing it. I think that, and the key to that is helping them, you're creating that safe environment. So, and we're going to go on a little bit to go more in depth of that.
I'm too early.
No, you're a little ahead of me. I appreciate it. Very, well, but you're on the right track. Do you have a question?
No, sometimes you can't get out of that, and so you just have to brace yourself and just first things first is to remain calm.
I love that.
Not personalize it and just sort of find a way which is the hardest thing to do over time.
Yeah.
Techniques to maintain calmness and to slightly disassociate yourself so that you can calm down.
So the goal, and I'm going to kind of rephrase that. Thank you so much. That was perfect. Is our goal is not to react. Not to react. That means in that situation, I may choose to just listen and not react. It's also viable in most cases to say, you know what? Thank you so much. This is information. You know, I really need this information. I need about 5 minutes. Let me come back and get you. You know, or if it's possible. There's some times when it's not possible. But the point is to put a pause between when we take in the stimuli and when we react in order to respond. In reaction, we don't have a choice. We just react. Response is having a choice. Saying, I really want to bite his head off. I know this is probably not the best idea. Maybe the best I can do is just be quiet. Shh, don't speak. That makes sense? Okay. So, with that in mind, what should be our goal when we find ourselves in conflict? I think that actually you just kind of started us down this topic, but what should be our goal? So we've calmed ourselves down, or we know that we are not going to react, hopefully. So what should be our goal in this whole thing? And especially dealing with the other person. What should we be thinking of? What is our number one goal right now? Yes?
Getting our way.
It'll be a long workshop. That's one way.
It's all about achieving goals.
Achieving goals. Okay, so what is our goal then in this? And I'm not talking about the goal of being, well, here's something to think about. And I'm kind of going off topic a little bit, but something to always think about. Do you want to be right or do you want to be happy? Sometimes they can come together, okay? But being right, are you okay with it being at the expense of a relationship? No. And as a leader, relationships are what make our jobs easy, period. So I've been in meetings before where my staff have reacted to things. Great, I don't have that luxury. Because if I react to one person, great, I've reacted to that one person, but my entire staff has seen me, and it has changed the environment in which I do my job. So I do not have the luxury of reacting. Okay? So with that in mind, so our goal, whenever we find ourselves in conflict, our first thing is to bring down that wall of defensiveness, to create that safe environment. Okay? Either the wall is going up, person shutting down, or the wall is going down, and we have effective communication. So when you find yourself in conflict, first thing is to check yourself. Okay, don't react. Let's stay calm. Second thing is, how do I help bring the person's wall of defensiveness down? Because when they come into you screaming, I can almost guarantee that that is not the real reason they're there. They feel threatened, out of control, all those things that we feel when conflict comes towards us. Okay? Make sense? What are your thoughts? Comments? Concerns? Okay, let's continue. So our goal is to create a supportive climate for good communication to take place. So what should this climate include? What should this environment include? What do we need to do? And I think someone said, that we want to be heard, so it's probably to let the other person know that they're heard. What are some other things?
Probably body language.
Body language? Yeah, body language.
Not to,
Being open.
yeah.
We should show sensitivity to others' needs.
Empathy, yeah, of course. We love that. Yes?
Being able to create an environment that supports understanding.
Love that. Supports understanding. Yes. Even if we don't agree with someone's points, I can understand the experience they're having. Because I probably felt the same way at some point. Okay, so the first thing, people respond well when they believe that you have their best interest at heart and that you're curious about what they're thinking. People do not respond well when they feel manipulated. So in questions where information has to come out, the more curious you can be, the more that wall of defensiveness comes down. Make sense? Questions that are kind of pointed or manipulative obviously don't have the best response. Make sense to everyone? Okay, good. So, atmosphere that creates win-win solutions, or that you're looking for that. Okay, I think someone mentioned that. Okay, if someone feels that their goals are not important to you, they're going to be fighting because they have to fight. Okay, but the minute they feel like you're on their side, that actually, in order for this to resolve in a manner that I want it to resolve, I want us both to be happy. I want us both to be able to walk out of here satisfied with the result. It may take a little bit of time, but I'm really interested in making sure that they're taken care of. You know, because I don't have to fight anymore. I can just communicate. Make sense? Okay. Does anybody have any experience with this? You have experience with it? Oh. Do you want to share? Or? But you're with me.
I'm with you.
Okay, good. Last one, communication that is honest, devoid of deception, empathetic, okay? Respectful of others' opinions, even if you don't necessarily agree with their opinion, okay? And the last one, quality-based. So it's really easy as a leader to pull the power card, right? I am the boss. But again, I think that our focus should be on building these relationships that allow someone to thrive, allow someone to be the best they can be. In order to do that, I think that power needs to be equalized. Yes, hi.
If you ask someone to do a simple task, and they think you're wrong, and they do everything but what you asked for, aren't you supposed to say, well, I told you, or asked you, or ordered you, whatever,
Yeah.
do a specific thing, and it has a tendency to get aggravating when you ask them to do one thing, and they do everything else but what you asked them. And then the other problem is, you could have like a person A come in there and have a disagreement with them, and then person B comes in there and it gets you even worse upset, and then C comes in right after that. And it kind of, in my case, it tends to build up. And it's kind of hard to tell all the guys, we'll come back tomorrow and we'll talk about it.
Right.
What you got to do.
Let's sit down, drink some tea. Right. But I think you bring up a good point is that we do have a job. The rules have to be followed. You have to do the tasks I ask you to. And it's really easy to kind of, when someone isn't doing what we ask them to do, I think sometimes, and we're going to talk about this in a little bit, we can kind of create stories in our head about why they're not doing that. And you could be completely correct. But I think people do things for a lot of different reasons. People are not that simple. So I wonder if telling someone, excuse me, I just told you to close that door. What did you not understand? Compared to, oh, I'm curious about this. You know, I believe I asked you to close the door. I'm sorry, you know, kind of, is there something in the situation I'm not aware of, or something like that? And I'm saying that off the cuff. The point is curiosity about why it wasn't done. I've been, especially as a young leader, I would do that. I would tell someone, you know, I just told you to do that. And 9 times out of 10, they would come up with this reason, and I'd be like, oh, that kind of makes sense why you didn't do that. And then I felt like, you know, felt foolish. Just because of experience and not wanting that, I've learned to kind of ask. And there are times when you do have to say, okay, I understand what you're saying, and this needs to be done. You have something else to say.
The other thing is when you're in a supervisor position, you shouldn't have to explain to all the subordinates why you want things done. And a lot of them say, well, how come we got to do that? How come we got to do this? You don't have the time to explain every single thing that you want done. It's like you decided to have something done, and they want you to do it.
Yeah. So I would agree. We don't have time to tell them everything. I think that in this situation, I would ask myself, what is it that they really want? Is it that they want that explanation? Is it that they're seeking respect? Is they're seeking this equality, like they're feeling less than? And I don't know the answers to those. But if I was coaching you, you're one of my clients, that's kind of things we would explore. Clients never come to me for the reason they think they're coming to me. People in mediation are never there for the reason they think they're there. I'm there to get this. That's not why they're there. My job as a mediator is to figure out why they're there and what need they want. We have positions versus needs and interests. That position we will fight all day for. Needs and interests, though, are a little bit, it's the feeling of respect. We have certain needs that need to be met. Does someone have their hand up?
Yeah, I was just gonna say that sometimes it may not necessarily, like, so we're telling someone to do something, and really truly, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
But it has to be that way because of maybe protocol or policy.
Yeah.
And I may think that it's ridiculous, but I still have to follow it.
Yes.
So if you explain to them, I don't think this makes sense, but it's the way that upper management or it's the way that the department wants it done, so he has to do it.
Yeah. That's definitely one way to respond. I would definitely agree. Another response would be, I hear your concern about this. I guess I'm a little confused. What is your concern about this task? And finding out what they want. Second thing is, and you can definitely handle it. The phrasing that you gave. I think another thing is to acknowledge, it really doesn't make sense, and I can see your confusion. And this does need to get done. So, what's your suggestion on how we can do this? So, yes, Andy, which we're going to talk about in a second. But thank you. I definitely agree with what you just said. Yes.
Yeah, I agree. Though sometimes I think that bosses don't see. They think that we're not doing something. They generalize. They think that we could be insubordinate because we're not doing something for a given reason. But there's so many intricacies. There's so many reasons that we could not have done something that's related to the detail of what we do that they're not really seeing everything. They're not seeing those three to five perspectives that we're seeing.
That's true. And a secret that
and they don't care. Frankly, they sometimes don't care.
Could be, yeah. And another thing too is that us bosses are really insecure sometimes. So there's sometimes when we're just saying stuff, we're like, just do it, and I'm like, I don't really know why I don't really quite know exactly the reason why. So I think we all have our stories, and not just bosses make up stories, we all make up stories. That's how we live. If the brain does not know something, it will make up a story, and then we will think that's true. It's just how we work. It's all good. But we got to know when we're making up the stories and be more curious about it. Does that make sense to everybody? Do you have anything to say, Kathy? No, I don't. Okay, so first of all, do you like my picture? One of my favorite pictures. I know. So how does conflict affect our ability to create safety in dialogue? Okay? So we're in conflict. What happens? We stop listening. Okay? Again, that fight or flight response. Okay? We fight for our agenda / become defensive. How many people do this? Come on, I do it. Or we see others as the enemy. Okay? How would our conflicts be different if we saw a partner in this? Conflict does not need to be about me against them, us against them. It does not have to be that way. It can be two people trying to figure out an issue. Does that make sense? What are your thoughts? Nope. We'll make sure I'm on track. Great. So, my question is, how well do you listen? So, just who here thinks they're a really good listener? Okay. How many people here think they're a bad listener? Okay. How many people think they're both? Definitely, we're both. We're both. If we're very interested in something, we're really good listeners. If I'm